Y'all, DDG's mom is spiraling over Halle Bailey's new boo. And when I say she crashed out extra bad. She is all over the internet throwing shade, making slick comments, and now word on the street is that she's supposedly demanding a paternity test for baby Halo. Apparently, DDG's family is convinced that Halle's new boo has been around way longer than anybody thought, and they think he might be Halo's real dad. And y'all already know DDG's mom is no stranger to jumping into the drama. But this time, she's taking it to a whole new level, practically accusing Halle of sneaking around behind DDG's back. So buckle up, because the tea is piping hot, the receipts are flying everywhere, and this story is about to get real disrespectful. Okay, so y'all have to know that we are just as shook as you are because those pictures of Halle Bailey on vacation with her new man just hit the internet. With everything going on between her and DDG, especially that messy custody battle over baby Halo, most of us assumed Halle was single, laying low, and keeping her head down. But those pictures flipped the whole narrative upside down. See, the second those photos leaked, it became real obvious that not only is Halle booed up, but this relationship has been happening behind the scenes for a minute. And the wildest part? Nobody even clocked it until the pictures dropped. At first, no one could figure out who the mystery man was, but y'all know the internet does not rest. It didn't take long before they pieced it all together. His name is Scott Bridgway, a music producer who's worked with big names, including Kendrick Lamar. But buckle up again, because here's where it gets even messier. Fans did some digging, receipts started popping up, and it turns out Scott and Halle have been together for way longer than we suspected. Scott helped produce Kendrick's GNX, and even went on tour with him. Now fast forward to May of this year, Halle attended the GNX concert in North Carolina. But according to rumors, she wasn't just there for the music. Word is, she was front and center supporting her new man. The real question that has everybody talking is, how does DDG feel about Halle moving on, especially after everything they've been through with baby Halo, the messy breakup, and all the internet drama? You'd think he'd be keeping it cute and moving on too, right? Well, not exactly. Because from what we've been seeing, DDG is not handling this well at all. Sure, he's been trying to act unbothered, posting like life is good and smiling for the cameras, but behind the scenes, he's pressed, and the cracks are starting to show. Let me break it down for y'all. Remember how DDG recently threatened to end Lil Rodney's son's career out of nowhere? Yeah, turns out that wasn't random at all. Word is, DDG flipped when he found out Rodney had been posting about Halle and her new man. And let's just say he didn't take it lightly.
I don't know if I could be post that. Hey, nigga. Vietnam. Alright, hey, he gonna keep it going. I'm gonna keep it going, y'all. Cause I ain't gonna lie. I wasn't even gonna follow through with what I was gonna do. But now,
Is it good?
I'm finna put it together right now.
Y'all, it didn't stop there. DDG's been so triggered that he's out here blocking random fans just for mentioning Halle even when they don't tag him. We're talking about harmless tweets like this one that said, Halle Bailey living her best life with her new man. I know that's right. Next thing we knew, they were blocked. Well, this man's crash out is wild, but it's about to get way messier because from the looks of it, DDG isn't the only one spiraling over Halle's new boo. No surprise, his mama Tanya is crashing out even harder. And y'all know Tanya and Halle never really got along to begin with, but this new relationship has Tanya extra pressed. Sources are saying Tanya feels like Halle moving on is disrespectful, especially because her breakup from DDG is still fresh, since it's been less than a year. But here's where it gets even wilder. Tanya allegedly thinks Halle is only dating Scott to get under DDG's skin. Like she's playing some kind of PR revenge game instead of focusing on their baby, Halo. But y'all already know Tanya's been throwing shade at Halle for months now, and it sounds like she's ready to take it to a whole new level. And speaking of Halo, this is where things take an even crazier turn because word on the street is that Tanya has been all up in DDG's ear, pushing him to get a DNA test on the baby. She allegedly thinks Halo might not even be his. Now, the streets are saying Tanya has been running with the theory that Halle was messing around behind DDG's back. Meanwhile, let's not forget that DDG was out here cheating on Halle left and right, allegedly linking up with Lala and who knows who else. But suddenly, Halle has a new man nearly 10 months after their messy breakup, and Tanya is flipping the whole narrative, hinting at paternity fraud. Y'all, the math is not exactly matching. And of course, the internet wasn't about to let Tanya slide with that mess. Fans pulled the receipts quick, fast, and in a hurry, and dragged her for filth. Let's be real for a second. DDG's been wilding out ever since Halle cut him loose. He's been booed up with Linya Love for months now, and y'all, that relationship has been chaotic, to say the least.
I knew you weren't gonna do it.
This way?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now what?
So, if Tanya really feels like Halle kissing Scott on a yacht is inappropriate, fans were quick to remind her how that makes zero sense because DDG and India have been doing way more than that, and they've been doing it publicly. I mean, let's be real here. India stays grinding on DDG in front of the cameras like it's her full-time job. And Tanya? She hasn't said a word about that. But when you think about it, it's not exactly hard to see why Tanya would lash out at Halle like this and try to accuse her of paternity fraud. Like I said, these two women do not like each other, and that's been obvious from drama after drama between them. Things only got worse when they filed the restraining order a couple of months ago, where Halle revealed that Tanya was an enabler. Tanya did not appreciate being called out like that. For example, when Halle claimed that DDG allegedly put his hands on her and chipped her tooth, she wrote, "When we arrived at his house, I was crying and told his family what happened. I begged the family, who were there to help me figure out a schedule with him. They said just leave Halo and go." And ever since those court filings dropped, Tanya has been moving fast and kind of weird. But here's where it gets even messier, because insiders are saying that Tanya has been holding a grudge ever since. And that's exactly why she's been so pressed about Halle having a new man. Some folks even think the whole paternity test talk is just Tanya's way of getting back at Halle for putting her family on blast. Let's not forget that shady little post Tanya tried to slide in like nobody was going to notice. Y'all remember when she wrote, "I don't usually comment or say anything on this internet, even with all the negativity, lies, and hatred towards mine, but these accusations made me realize I've been quiet too long." Yeah, that didn't go well because fans wasted no time pulling up receipts and came with the screenshots locked and loaded. She exposed how DDG barely spends time with Halo and how Tanya had been enabling him behind the scenes. In the texts, you can literally see Halle dealing with Tanya to coordinate DDG's own child. Halle texted Tanya saying, "Just keeping you updated. We'll be back on the 11th. Haven't heard if Moose still plans to get Halo like we talked about. If he's around, you can get him the 27th and bring him back the 4th. If not, I'll keep him till we return." Tanya then claimed DDG didn't have time to take Halo, saying, "He said that he will wait until you get back together." But here's the kicker. After all that, Tanya still ran to court and made a sworn declaration, twisting the situation and basically throwing shade on Halle, putting her under the bus. She blamed Halle for the breakdown, making it sound like Halle was the problem the whole time. And y'all already know how that went, so we're not even going to get into that. But basically, she claimed that Halle had been stalking DDG by placing AirTags in his car. She even painted Halle as being unstable and hinted that she tried to take herself out at one point. But what's truly wild about all this paternity mess is how shady Tanya has been. It's literally been just 1 week since she was out here fighting for grandparents' rights and begging the courts to let her supervise DDG's visits with Halo. So, she went from trying to act like Grandma of the Year, petitioning to stay in Halo's life, to now turning around and throwing shade, like maybe the baby isn't even theirs to begin with. Y'all, make it make sense. Fans are already clocking the contradiction. If Tanya really believed there was a chance Halo wasn't family, why was she so pressed about getting court-approved time with him in the first place? You can't have it both ways. Either you're claiming him, or you're not. On the other hand, fans say she's salty because Halle fought the court to prevent Tanya from being the appointed supervisor. Y'all remember how DDG's lawyer tried to pull a fast one in court, right? He asked the judge to let DDG visit Halo under Tanya's supervision, thinking that would somehow make things smoother. But Halle wasn't having it. Her lawyer shut that down immediately, telling the judge that Tanya couldn't be trusted to monitor those visits fairly. And y'all already know why. Halle's been saying from day one that Tanya enables DDG's toxic behavior, covering for him, making excuses, and turning a blind eye to the drama. That's exactly why she filed for sole custody in the first place. And the judge agreed, ruling that DDG could still visit Halo but only with a neutral, professional supervisor in the room. Tanya got benched. It's clear she's salty about it, which probably explains why she's spiraling and throwing shade at Halle on social media. At first, she tried to fight back against the court's decision. She swore up and down that she's perfectly capable of being the chaperone, trying to paint herself as the sweet, innocent grandma just trying to spend time with her grandson. But the receipts said otherwise, and fans weren't buying it, especially considering all the drama Tanya's name stays attached to. The internet quickly reminded her that she's been deep in this mess from the beginning. And now she's pushing wild narratives about Halle and the baby's paternity, like she hasn't been causing chaos herself behind the scenes. And here's where it gets real messy. People are starting to question if Tanya's paternity test demands have anything to do with concern for Halo, or if it's just about revenge. But the real question is, how far is she willing to go to prove a point? Because the way this drama keeps escalating, something's about to blow. It's giving bitter. It's giving damage control. But most of all it's giving, this drama is far from over. Let's be real for a second. Tanya demanding a paternity test right after Halle popped up with her new man is not a coincidence. It's giving damage control. The crazy part? This same woman was just in court fighting for more access to Halo, accusing Halle of keeping him away from DDG. And now, she's out here questioning if Halo's even DDG's kid. From the looks of it, this is just the tip of the iceberg. If Tanya is spiraling this hard over Halle's new relationship, imagine what's coming next. And if y'all noticed, Halle's been real quiet. But quiet doesn't mean weak. So don't be shocked if the next time she claps back, the receipts shake the whole internet. Stay tuned, because this mess is only heating up from here. Y'all, the gloves are off because DDG's mom just came for Halle Bailey's entire reputation, and the way she's exposing her, it's not looking good for Hai at all. See, Hai thought she was about to air out DDG with her sneaky little claims about his weird habits, but what she didn't expect was his mama stepping and flipping the whole story swinging, and exposing the site of Halle fans weren't ready to believe, yet now the internet is in shambles. The family's drama is getting messier by the second, and everybody's starting to question if Hal's innocent image is just one big performance. So, how did we get from Hai's subtle shade to Tanya dragging her for filth? And what did Tanya reveal that got fans completely switching sides? Let me break it down for y'all. So, it's a whole new world of drama between Halle Bailey and DDG that has officially gone off the rails, and now DDG's mama Tanya is stepping all the way in making sure her son isn't the only one catching that heat after H started dropping hints that DDG's family dynamic was, let's just say, shaky and questionable. Tanya wasted no time clapping back and calling out what she claims is H's real personality, and according to Tanya, fans have seen the polished Hollywood version of Hai, not the side that's been causing trouble behind the scenes. But before we dive deep into Tanya's clapback, let's rewind a little bit, because this didn't just come out of the nowhere. Y'all know how he's been low-key blaming DDG's family for the whole mess that their relationship turned into, especially his mama. In her court filings, Hai didn't hold back and basically implied that DDG's mom was enabling the drama, never holding him accountable, and even played a whole part in the covering up for him when things allegedly got toxic. But trust, Honey did not appreciate being thrown into the mix like that. For example, when she claimed that DDG allegedly put hands on her and chipped her tooth. Hai wrote, "When we arrived at his house, I was crying and told his family what happened. I begged his family, who were there to help me figure out a schedule with him. They just said leave Halo and go." Y'all also know that she claimed that Tanya helped DDG hide the fact that he wasn't a present father like he would like us to believe. She wrote, "I am aware that Daryl leaves Halo with his mother most of the visits, and his mother cares for Halo now." It didn't take long for Tanya to come back into the situation and join that chat, and the way she did it, it was clear that she was in Mama Bear mode. She hopped on Instagram, posted that infamous Kermit the Frog meme, and captioned it, "Hello Jesus, take the wheel." And that might seem subtle, but anybody with common sense caught the shade, and right after that the internet started dragging her for being an enabler like Halle claimed. Well, Tanya fired off another message, basically saying enough is enough. She posted, "I don't usually comment or say anything on this internet, even with all the negativity, lies, and hatred towards mine. But these accusations made me realize I've been quiet too long." But this is where the whole thing spiraled, because Halle came with some receipts. She dropped some text that straight up exposed how deep DDG's mom was allegedly enabling him behind the scenes. Now one of those receipts exposed basically confirmed what folks had been side-eyeing Tanya for in the text. Instead of DDG handling his own child, Hai was clearly dealing with his mama. She texted Tanya saying, "Just keeping you updated, we'll be back." On the 11th, haven't heard if Moose still plans to get Halo like we talked about. If he's around, you can get him the 27th and bring him back the 4th. If not, I'll keep him till we return. Tanya then claimed that DDG didn't have the time to take Halo, saying, "Hai forgot to text you. He said that he will wait until you get back to get him. Well, right after those texts hit the blogs, Tanya wasn't having it. She clapped back extra hard, basically saying Hell's out here trying to play V, twisting the facts. According to Tanya, she's the one stepping up for Halo and DDG's unavailable, and instead of being grateful, H is throwing shade. But fans aren't really buying it, because if DDG is such a hands-on dad like Tanya claims, why is his mom always the one making the arrangements? Well, fans definitely went off on the comments of Tanya, and they said stuff like, I don't normally like to blame parents for how their grown adult children behave, but DDG's mama is a huge part of the problem, and her post since the restraining order shameful. And DDG mom is a typical boy mom, so her standing behind her son isn't surprising, but there's also the fact that Tanya basically lets her sons walk all over her, and y'all already glocked it, like in this clip where DDG literally smacks the food right out of her hand, and instead of checking him, she laughs it off like it's cute, yet enabling much kind of weird for a black mom.